What's going on, guys? You got Quasi here for Quasi Media, Quasi Animation Studio. Check this out, man. We're gonna work on something simple. All right. Excuse me. Something you may consider to be like, oh, that's simple enough. I'm like, sometimes it's not always simple enough. So I'm gonna do you get everything set up for a blast, so to speak. Okay, so the thing we're going to do here is we're going to reverse engineer the character. So the character here is from my Versus series. This is Armin. If you've been following the series, then you know what happened to her. But nonetheless, we're going to go backwards with her, and I'm going to right here add a keyframe. And I want to say right about 50 frames, and I'll just move that down to 50. Okay, so I'm going to go into the post library, and I'm going to give just that arm and that shoulder. Let's click it. Arm and the shoulders, the pose. I'm going to change the pose for that. Okay. And then I'm going to go off of that real quick, and I'm going to click this orb. Now, I want the orb at its max. I'm not going to do it just yet, though. Okay. So we want to find our timing. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to go up to so far because I know she's going to lift her hand up. Okay, so I'm going to go in and change something with her hand animation. All right, I'm going to turn this off real quick. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to select just her hand. All right. Now I want it to have a delay, so I'm going to copy and paste and then only leave 20 frames. So when it comes up, it pops open like wham. There we go. That's what I want. All right. Now let's turn this back on. We'll hide bones and we'll turn our blast back on, or our key orb. Now, when it goes up, what I want to happen is her hand to linger for a second, right? All right. So when her hand lingers for a second, the camera, I have it set up to go fast at a certain time. So when it gets ready to go fast at that moment, then that's when we're going to increase the actual orb. So since her hand goes up at about 50 frames, around about frame 70 is when we'll make the key blast arrive. So what you want to do is select it, go into your, what's the thing called? Make sure that your scale is applied on whatever you're using. Make sure the scale is applied, unless there's something that you just don't want done, because it may affect whatever procedural material you have on the actual character. I mean, on the actual object. Sometimes it affects it, so you don't want to change that. All right. So with that being said, now the next part is, we want to, because what I tend to do is apply the size I want first. So I already know right here I have a size I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and put scale or location and scale, because I may move it. Okay, so let's just do location and scale, and then I want to say it like frame 100. Since it's going to break in at like 110, I'm going to scale it up, and this is where the location part comes in at, because I want it to scale up a little, not a lot, but enough. And I'm going to push it forward, because remember, the camera is now going to be in the way. Okay, so since it's going to scale up at this moment when you get bigger, I don't want it to do it right away. So I'm gonna go backwards to like 90, because I was at 110. I'm gonna go backwards to like 90, and that keyframe that's at 70, I'm going to move to 90. So from keyframe 70, I'm going to hit S0 enter. So that's going to give me a location and scale of 0. So nothing's going to be there. Now I'm going to select that first keyframe. I'm gonna hit Shift D and I'm gonna push it to 80. Okay, because it duplicates the keyframe. So now when it pops up and it'll get bigger. So now this part where we had to get bigger, I may just go ahead and expand it to 130, because I have 160 frames. So let's expand it to 130. The 90 keyframe, I'm going to hit Shift D and I'm going to move it to 110. Okay, so now we have a little bit of a jump that you change a little bit. So let's look at it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to change the camera animation so we can still see her face. All right, so let's click the camera. I know it's going to, because when this gets larger, I want to be able to see her face. All right, so let's push this up some. I may go back a little bit, just a little. All right, there we go. That's good enough. All right, so now back to the blast, or the key blast. All right, now pressing play, hand comes up, wham, and then it just gets larger. and it repeats itself. So that's roughly a way to go about doing it. Okay, so I recognize that it moves a little bit too far to the front, farther than I want it to. Okay. There we go. So let's see where it's at, and then when it gets larger, and this is more of an aesthetic of my own mind, not necessarily something to be in camera, because you can't tell if like from here you can see it from the side, you can't tell if it's like that on camera, like from the front, because the camera's facing her, so you can't tell. But when I see it, it bothers me, so I just fixed it. Now, this is the thing. If you want that to move around with the character, you can actually constrain it to the character. So let's say, for instance, I want it to move with her, but not to go away. So let's say, but it's still going to have his animation on it. So let's make it a child of constraint. Let's pick her rig, and then we're gonna go, because I think that's the right hand, so to speak, or left. It should say left. Let's go ahead and turn the rig on. Click it. I want to make sure. So yes, the left side. These models are backwards for some reason, so it's realistically the right side, but it says left. So we're gonna pick middle, and we're gonna go left middle 1. All right, and hit select inverse. So now when it goes down, you'll see where you can see the point of origin of that sphere, where it is, and it'll still do its job. And this way you don't have to worry about trying to animate where it's set in reference to her hand. Now this is only for something like a generation of an orb or something. So with that being said, I'm going to go back to the blast, and I know that it opens in this one spot, but because there seems to be a little bit of, to me, it seems to be a little bit of a lag there. So I'm going to push this forward to 60. So from 50 to 60 is going to be closed, and then from 60 to 70 is going to pop up, and then wham, there we go. That looks way better. Let's press that down, and I'm going to go to my playback tab. This is only mine. This is only set up in mine, so you have to set up your stuff that way. This is something I have set up in my own personal Blender. All right, so and what's funny is I just opened up a new one and there's already one up. Hold on, let me fix it. Okay, here we go. Wrong thing. All right, there we go. So now we look at the playback, and there we have it. Yeah. Alrighty then, not too bad. Okay, so I hope that helps someone or whatnot. Yeah, that being said, I'm gonna scroll back a little bit. All right. Yeah, like I said, I hope that helps someone. I'm gonna make the background totally black. Yes, sir. There we go. I like that one. It's just jet black. All right, go to the settings. I'm gonna do EXR. Lossy. That's cool. All right, cool. Right about there. Yes, sir. There it is. So, like I said, I hope to help someone and have at it, man. Nothing but love. Talk to you guys later.